This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. Trent for the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's Wood. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome to this edition of Red Side of the Trent, here to give you a preview to the West Ham game as Forest host West Ham United at the City Ground for our third game of the season. Delighted to be joined by Danny Tring and Elliott Bauer. Danny, how are you first of all?
Yeah, good. What about yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. I had the pleasure of you baking me and my wife a lovely red velvet cake. So if anyone wants any cake, Danny's your man, basically.
That's it.
Full of DMs now, Danny. Elliott, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I had a pie for tea, so that was lovely.
A pie for tea, lovely. And you're rocking a tash because of Count Monte Cristos, you just told us offline.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Very good if you want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Danny, I'm just going to get your thoughts on the weekend. Obviously, you travelled down to Selhurst Park. First of all, what did you get in Borough Market?
We went for, what did we have? Oh, we went just outside. We went for breakfast. I had like a breakfast burrito. That was nice, really nice. And then we went to the George pub where we went on the Waka Waka tour. Went over to the George pub, and there was Forest in there. And like I say, we headed over to Norwood. I think is it Norwood? And all the trouble that was supposed to be there was non-existent. It was quite pleasant, actually. I like Palace. It's a good away day. I like to go down to London, and then you could just potter about. And then they could. I know we've had a lot of drama in pre-season, but before all that, I think they're good set of fans, to be fair. And the general, everyone I tend to speak to, what were there, they was all dead sound. So no, it was a very good day out, and then performance were decent as well, I thought. I mean, are we going into it now, or?
Yeah. What was your overview of it?
Yeah, no, I just thought we had 20 minutes at the start. They had 25 minutes, and then I thought we dominated them second half. Dominated them. It was just a mistake cost us, which was a bit of a pattern at the end of the last season. Whereas we had control in games, and then we had the odd mistake, which would then get the opposing team the goals that we really struggled against. But I thought if there was ever going to be one winner, it was going to be us, and that's a massive improvement on, like I say, towards the end of last season, because it never really looked like we were knocking on the door. Whereas I thought on Sunday, especially the last 5 minutes, it was really, I mean, if Jesus scores that goal, there'd have been bodies everywhere in that away end, because it was absolutely mental. It was mental. When the equaliser went in, it was crazy. So yeah, for me, good result. I'd have took a point before we got there, especially with everything that's gone off. It was one of them that could have been a banana skin, really, and get a point, go out there. Not many people get those 3 points from Selhurst Park this season, I don't think.
Yeah. Elliott, anything to add there? Was you happy with the introduction of our new signings? Obviously, Douglas Reed was the only one that didn't get on.
Yeah, very much so. Look, we always draw at Selhurst Park. It's some kind of unwritten law that we draw from them. But yeah, I was very impressed the second half. Although I've got to admit, I did prefer the first half of our Brentford game a lot better than this one.
Yeah, I think that was the standards we've kind of set, and Palace did well, to be fair, to stunt us in terms of our control. Obviously, second half, like you said, Danny, was really, really good. Before we get into West Ham, I did want to talk to you guys about transfer business. And Elliott, I'll start with yourself. Obviously, there's been this rumour that Ibrahim Sangare might be leaving, although I think majority of the fan base are quite puzzled on this. What's your opinion on the situation?
What, as in Sangare leaving?
Yeah. What would you say to that?
I would rather drink wasps. I absolutely love Sangare, as you guys know. I think we are getting some of the best performances out of him we've seen since. We remember that Newcastle game, the Boxing Day one, where I think if he wasn't on the pitch, I think we probably would have lost that game because he dominated that midfield well. And obviously, of course, the majority of our midfielders, they can't play that number 6 role. Granted, Sangare is more of a box-to-box midfielder as well, but we have to be considerate that we are a defensive-minded team, and I personally think Sangare is very good in that particular role. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Danny. I mean, you've got obviously a strong opinion on this. What's your thoughts on it? It's a bit nonsensical for him to go right now.
Well, why would we look to sell someone who's a starter? That's what I just can't work out. Is a starter that there's no argument that is a starter. I think I've read his start of the last 7 games, and people won't actually want to admit this, but I don't think Sangare has ever come out of the team down to form. He's only ever come out of the team down to injuries or illness or international duty. He's never come out of the team where, for example, take last season. He was a starting midfielder. He started every game until he got injured. He then found fitness at the end of last season and has started every game since. He started every game this season. I agree. There's a question mark on how many games he plays due to injury, and that is something that you do have to take into consideration. But looking to sell him, in my opinion, we don't know what Douglas Luiz is going to be like. If he was to come in for him, we're looking at. It's like, well, it's a risk. It still is a risk. It's like we know what we're getting from Sangare now, and we know that realistically he's only going to get better with more game time. And for me, I thought he were the best. I thought he were outstanding first week, opening game of the season. If it wasn't for Gibbs White and Anderson having an absolute unbelievable game, is candidate for man of the match. I mean, he was still candidate for man of the match for some people. And then on Sunday, people don't want to hear it, but it was the best midfielder out of the 3.
Yeah, he was.
It was the best midfielder out of the 3, but because he getting the ball away once and halfway when he did well on the ball and they had a shot, everyone goes on like he loses the ball all the time. He lost it once. And he just does little things. I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of the fan base is starting to see it now. I mean, when I was at Palace on Sunday, the people around me, some of them, they were saying they was a bit critical on him before, but now they're like, I just see what he does. He looks to pass when we cut under pressure. He's always showing for the ball, constantly showing for the ball. And people have questioned whether he can play in a 2-man midfield. I'd argue he's been playing as a 1-man sitter, and Anderson and Gibbs White are doing their business. They've got it's like Gibbs White and Anderson, they've got like a bit of a free roam. So for me, it makes no sense whatsoever. We've got no one who can do what he does. No one who. It's like if he does, say we was to sell him, and we don't bring someone in, and Douglas Luiz doesn't do well, or we're putting Ryan Yates in midfield because Dominguez is injured, because that's where you are, and it's like we've got past that now. We are past that. People don't like to admit it, but we're past that type of needing that midfielder. We're looking to be a possession-based team. We've seen it with the statistics in the games that we've played. I think both have been over 55%.
Yeah.
So, and anyone will tell you, whether you're the biggest Ryan Yates fan in the world, having the ball at his feet is not his strength. So, if we're building a style of play based on possession, we need a midfielder who can look after a ball. And I see people shouting and having opinions saying, "Oh yeah, but he's not like Roy Keane." Who is? Who is? Rodri's just won Ballon d'Or. I don't think I've ever seen him scream and shout. Kevin De Bruyne is meant to be one of the it's spoken as one of the best centre midfielders ever in Prem. It's not. You don't get that player no more. There isn't that player. And I tell you what, I think he leads more than people think. If you have a look when Hudson-Odoi scored on Sunday, when they celebrate, when they're walking off, look who's talking to all the players, telling them, right, get your heads on it. Right, this is good. We've got the goal. You can see it, and they're all looking at it, and they're listening, and they probably are respecting him more than fans like to think. So for me, it's a no-go. And like you say, I'm not daft. If they've turned around and they offered us 35 million and we've got a replacement in line, then yeah, I'd look at the avenue of selling him. But then again, you're running that risk. What if you spend 35 million on another replacement and it takes him a couple of months, we know that he's performing. That's the thing. He's performing well enough. So to take him out the side now, it'd be detrimental, I think, to the squad, because at the minute the level of if he has a season where he performs 7 out of 10 all season, we've had a good season. Yeah. Because that's all you want from his number 6. We don't need him to be banging goals, and we just want him to dictate the play, the pace of play. So for me, yeah, it's a long answer, but no, I won't sell him.
I think the diplomatic answer would have been, yeah, no, we won't sell him. But I think as well, Douglas Luiz will struggle to play in that number 6. I had Ben on, who's avid Aston Villa fan, season ticket holder. He doesn't do that role without Boubacar Kamara there. Do you know what I mean? Elliott, anything to add?
I was going to ask you both a question. How long's left on Sangare's contract?
I think 2 years, 2-3 years. He signed a 5-year deal, I believe. And
So,
I get it because he's had such struggles as well, like malaria, hamstring injuries, other injuries, change of manager.
Horrific injury at AFCON. That was
where Sadio Mane nearly decapitated his ankle, as Christian likes to remind everyone. So yeah, it would be a backward step. So I think he's got a lot to try and prove to himself, never mind everyone else as well, that he can play in this league. And I think he's slowly adapting to that. Elliott, there's obviously a little bit of transfer window left. I mean, is there anywhere that you would like to particularly strengthen? Obviously, we've been linked to Dylan Backwork really heavily from Strasbourg. I think we've been linked to another right back today in Gertruda from Leipzig. Anywhere else you'd like to see come in?
Well, no doubt the fullback position, because but I feel that that's going to be a very sort of difficult role, because what you're sort of asking is, okay, we want a good one, but at the same time, you may likely sit on the bench due to the fact that Nico Williams and Ola Reina have just nailed on their positions. So I feel like a fullback may be difficult, but it is absolutely those two roles that we need to fill. I believe Moreira is actually going on loan as well. The other thing I could probably suggest there is could Zach Abbott work as a right back? You never know with these things. I thought he did all right at Wembley. So I think we're all right everywhere else, in my personal opinion. But yeah, it's just I think the fullbacks need to be stacked. A third goalkeeper may be impossible to look for in around this time. So I'm all right with goalkeepers. But yeah, the one place we do need to fill is fullbacks.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is what our squad's looking like at the moment, which I think it looks a lot more tasty now from a couple of weeks ago, when it was like loads of gaps everywhere. And then obviously Morato, he's linked to Bologna apparently, and we're linked with the Juventus fella. I can't remember his name, to be honest, but I don't think it looks like it's going to happen. But it looks pretty good, doesn't it, Elliott?
Oh yeah, I'm just going to quickly mention regarding James McAtee and Igor Jesus. Can they potentially play on the right wing as well?
I guess so. I think Jesus can play where Hudson-Odoi and Ndoi play. I think McAtee can play definitely where Hutchinson can play as well. Okay. I think we had a lot of variety to our attack with them players as well. And then if Backward does come in, I mean, that's a lot of competition for places. So it's exciting. Just wanted to ask you both as well about the Nuno Edu situation, Danny. First of all, what do you make of all that? I mean, it's craziness really to think about parting ways with Nuno now after such a strong season and a half, really.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I mean, if I'm honest, it's a bit of I feel like it's flattened the mood of the fan base a bit. I thought first game of the season, when that interview come out, it killed a bit of the mood. It was a bit like the pre-match. A lot of people were like, "What's he doing? Like, what's gone off?" And the buzz. You've got to think we're in our first season in Europe for a long, long time. Well, since my lifetime and your lifetime, where you can be going. It's like, and I feel like it's killed the buzz a bit. And I don't know if it's tactical or not, but then obviously it was even worse given what he said pre-match at Palace. So I don't think I feel like I think you lot spoke about. I feel a bit for Marinakis, if I'm honest, like because I think if you went to outside the top six, maybe even higher, I think a lot of them would have swapped squads with our squad, and I think they'd be a lot happier with it. Like you see the likes of Glasgow, who's won an FA Cup, then backed it up by winning at Charity Shield against Liverpool, and then he's got no one coming in, and he's lost his best player. You've got Marco Silva, who's done a good job wherever he's ever been. He can't seem to get backed, and yet Nuno's moaning and whinging, and we don't really know what it is because everything he's saying is a bit like a riddle. Like it's well, we're not ready. We're not ready. That was his first interview, but then we've given him a lot of resource, a lot of players. But then you read, and you don't know what's true. But he's saying, well, he's a bit more comfortable having players that are happier being in the squad than having starters because it's all about having a tight knit squad. But if we're going to push on, we can't really have players that are going to be happy sitting on the bench. It's like take Gibbs White for instance, absolutely outstanding first game, had a bit of a stinker on Sunday. He's got a bit of pressure on him now, rightly so, because McAtee's going to be. I'm not calling for Gibbs White to be dropped. I'm saying he's going into the next game knowing, well, I've got to be at the races because there's actually someone here who's going to be looking for. Because to be fair, that's what you want. You want McAtee to be thinking, that's not how can I that shit. I reckon I could have gone in there and done better than him. Whereas we've never had that before. Like we signed, I think Scarpa was the last real competition where it was just like a non-starter, but that was the only really 10 we've ever signed since. Before, obviously, there were the Lingard one. But since then, he's not really had no pressure on him. And same goes for, I think we thought we've signed Anderson to do that. And he seems to have just absolutely dominated a 8 position, which, like I say, going on to what we knew now, I can't understand what he's done. I don't get why he's upset. I mean, it'll all come out, I imagine. And if I'm honest, I don't know if they will move on from it. If I'm perfectly honest, I think they may part ways with him. Maybe not this weekend. I don't want him to because I love Nuno. I do, but just seems like strange behaviour by someone who's not really the most vocal of people. He's not. He can be quick on his interviews to shut down questions. He could have quite easily done it this time, but he chose purposely to say what he had to say. And it's all gone a bit quiet, hasn't it? So hopefully no news is good news, but like you always say, you're only so many games from a disaster, aren't you, in football? And
Yeah, that's it.
It's like a defeat against West Ham and you're thinking, are they playing for him, are they not? Just because that's just the way football is.
Yeah, I think the players are playing for him personally.
Yeah, 100%.
Elliott, would you be surprised if he went or they didn't resolve this issue? Because like Danny says, he's normally quite quick to shut stuff down. In his post match, he was saying it's nonsense and he wants to get it all sorted. And obviously, Marinakis is playing peacemaker for a change.
Well, obviously, of course, Danny said it brilliantly. I think, we would all be very disappointed if Nuno does go. But what you've also got to keep in mind is he's got a very high approval rating with the fans. It must be somewhere in the 90s, surely. Well, what we've also got to bear in mind is like the managers we've been potentially saying it could take his place. I've had a look on social media a lot, and the majority of them is please don't. And I'm exactly the same. Like when I see some of these like managers, might be past it, might be awful. I mean, we were all like that when Nuno first came aboard. If you look at the comments on Fabrizio Romano, everyone's like, no, not him. We want Steve Cooper. We are very difficult to please as a fan base. We like things as traditional as possible. I'm okay with Nuno, but football is a very ruthless business, and if there is somebody out there that is better than him, of course, I would happily get rid of Nuno and get this better manager. But right now, let's just be realistic. I don't think we can get better than Nuno. I think he's perfect for our club.
Yeah, I mean, if the worst was to happen, Elliott, and he did go, who's someone that you would maybe earmark as someone that could replace him?
So are we talking like in an ideal world or just
no, or just
realistic?
someone who's quite realistic, whether they're a free agent or not, or already at a football club? Is anyone that you'd have your eye on?
Certainly not Gareth Southgate. I think we'll get Calvin Phillips on loan if that was the case, but I'd probably have to go with Marco Silva just for his experience. But then again, I think it would be very difficult to prize him away from Fulham. But I think in an ideal world, Marinakis loves him. I'd probably suggest him, really.
Yeah. I mean, Marco Silva's only got 1 year left, so I don't think it would be that costly, to be honest. And he's not been getting backed at Fulham, as Danny rightly said. So, no, we'll move on. It's West Ham this weekend, guys. And Elliott, I'll start with yourself. What have you? I mean, West Ham are a bit of a basket case at the moment. They've conceded 8 goals in their first 2 games to Sunderland and Chelsea. I mean, on paper, it would suggest that we maybe hammer them home, maybe 4-0 this time rather than the 1-2 or 3 that we've beaten previous at the City Ground. But are you quite confident in going into this one?
Obviously, of course, being a Forest fan, there's a little bit of apprehension. The reason for that is basically when we go into the ground sometimes against teams like this, you know, a manager's in trouble, could potentially cost his job. We tend to go in a little bit entitled, and I've never liked that. I always want to, like, every single game we go into, I want us to take it very, very seriously. And this is just the same. We've seen the likes of, drawn to the likes of Luton and Leicester. We lost to Everton, I think last April or May, when we were going in very, very confident, thinking we're going to win this easily. We won't have to get our second gear, and we don't. So that's why I'm a little bit apprehensive. But in an ideal world, I would absolutely love a comfortable win against West Ham. I believe we will do it. But let's go into this game taking it very, very seriously indeed, because if we do slip up and don't take it seriously, we've seen the likes of Jared Bowen is a very, very good player. They could punish us if we don't take them seriously, basically. But I am hoping for a win.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, Elliott talks quite a good point actually about apprehension. But like you said, with the backup now we've got and the depth and players after players' shirts, I think that kind of will give people a kick up the backside. Would you not say?
Oh yeah, 100%. And what I would say is, I think we've been quite fortunate with West Ham in the past with our own games. Every time we seem to have played them, it seems to have been like a bit of almost like a free hit, and it has sent like one. I think the first season,
That first home game back, wasn't
it? Yeah, first home game back. Then the second season, there was a red card, I think, and we went on to win when Williams should have
I think there was 2 red cards, wasn't there? But last season they got a red card. I think season before.
Yeah. That was one of those rare games when Taiwo was fit and firing as well.
Yeah.
I think Calvin Phillips gets sent off.
Sent off, yeah, he always gets sent off.
He always gets sent off against.
And Alvarez, I think, got sent off once.
Yeah, he did last season.
So I think, and then like last season, was it like the end of Lopetegui, maybe?
Yeah.
I think when they come and we just coasted past them, didn't we? Was it 3-0?
Yeah.
3-1, 3-0. And
3-0.
I feel like with Nuno, that's one massive credit I will give him. I just think he tends to deal with like the situation, like the banana skins never really tend to be banana skins with him. It's like taking the end of last season out of the situation. We tend to beat the newly promoted teams regularly. Games that we should be winning, we tend to win. The ones that we don't win, though, it tends to be the bogey teams like the Bournemouths and the what's. We never seem to get topside them, but that's always been the case. But the ones where we're expected to go and get the job done, it does tend to do it. It's like when Everton away last year. That was like, it was manager there, and I think it was
Deitch.
Deitch, and they'd done, weren't they? They were really struggling. They were like, we've got to go and beat them. We just comfortably beat them 2-0, and it was like, it does tend to do that. So, but I get the apprehensiveness because that's just football, isn't it? It's every game. Liverpool were 2-0 up after 1 minute after second half, like the football, and then they go on and literally nick it last minute against Newcastle. It's football, just that's the way it is. There's no script, as they say. It's anything can happen, and I would be very disappointed if we didn't come out of that game with 3 points, just because they do look like a basket case. They're falling out with the fans. They're conceding lots of goals. They tried to play a team last night, I think, to get a bit of form into them, and they've ended up losing against a second string Wolves team, which when they brought the decent players on, they looked fairly comfortable and could have gone on to win it by more than what they did. The keepers are struggling. That's a massive thing. And they've got Bowen, and they've got Paqueta, who's not really been at it for a long time. Other than Bowen, who have they got where you're like, oof. Kudos was a cracking player, wasn't he? I know he down tools last year for him, but he's one of them players where if he wanted to turn up that day, he could hurt any team. But luckily for us, he didn't. But they ain't got that now. And Bowen's a bit of he's a quality player, but he's not the type of player who can do it on his own.
No.
I don't see. He's not like a Cunha. Do you like when Cunha was at Wolves?
Yeah, just one man battering ram.
Yeah. So I get the apprehension, I do, because it's Forest, but I think it's more down to it just being Forest. But as long as I can't see him bringing anyone in, they might bring him in, but it might be a bit too late. So no, I'm confident. I'm very confident, to be honest.
Yeah, Elliott, do you see any changes from our first 11 from the last 2 weeks, or do you see Nuno continuing with that trend?
I think we should just stay as we are. Like, they were very good against Brentford. We're back at home. I would like to stay as we are.
Yeah, Danny, is there anyone that you might see as a potential casualty from that first 11, or do you agree with Elliott?
Oh no, I think keep it the same. Keep it the same. No one. The only issue I think we might have is I didn't think Aina were fit after 5 minutes on Sunday. I think he was stretching up constant. There was a lot of space in the first half because there was attacking towards us, and he just didn't overlap. He didn't commit, and I just thought he's not right. And every time he stopped, he was like stretching his calf. You could see, and when he did something a bit where he had to go out his comfort zone a bit, you could tell it was taking it out of him. So, but the only problem is, like we spoke about, we haven't really got a full-back option. So I'd go with the starting 11. And if there was one change, which I'd just accept, I'd say, is if they did bring McAtee in and they dropped Gibbs White deeper, just because I feel like it's a game where we could dominate in that kind. They're not really big monsters. And going back on like what I said with Sangare, I love Sangare, but we do know it can work with Morgan and Elliott Anderson. So that would be as a deeper two and McAtee. That's the only one that you can be like, I'd be, I could see the logic in it. I wouldn't expect it to happen, but if you just to like start a conversation, that's the one thing that I could swallow and be like, yeah, you know what? They're not really dominant in midfield. We've got two. We could probably go in there, get Anderson and Gibbs White buzzing about a bit, moving about, and then. But then again, saying that if Souček plays, he's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah. My controversial one would be is Dan Doy, and it's not because and it's funny because he scored obviously and assisted in his first 2 games, but I just think physically it's took him a while to get into each game, I find. But I mean, unbelievable assists last week, unbelievable goal the week before. So if he's playing not so well now, and still getting used to it and contributing, what the hell is he going to be like when he actually gets his teeth sunk into it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he's not had the. I think if he hadn't got his goal and assist, we'd all be saying, "Bloody hell, he's not really doing a deal." But that's what we want from him. Do you know what I mean? There are moments where it does it, but I do get what you're saying. If you was to actually look at his body of work, it is a bit sketchy at the minute. I do think he did better on the left, but I prefer. I'm a big fan of Hudson-Odoi, so it's like, would I want to see Hudson-Odoi go on to the right now? I probably wouldn't. The only other option, I don't think McAtee is a wide man, and I think you'd probably look at putting Hutchinson out there, and it's one of them. Can't see Hutchinson coming in for Ndoi. I just can't. But I do rate. it's one of them. If they can produce their moments, and it just looks a bit lightweight. It just looks very lightweight. Undoy does. It just looks a bit like it's knocked off the ball quite easy. I think he's just got to get up to the pace of it. And if Wire's getting up to the pace and it is scoring and setting goals, we'll all be happy with it, not we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, two contributions early doors has been great. What's your score prediction, Elliott? I know you're having some camera issues, but hopefully you can talk.
Yeah, apologise. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Don't worry.
You want a score prediction?
I do.
Well, the first one we played was 1-0. Second season 2-0. Third was 3-0. So this might be a 4-0.
I mean, that would be great. I mean, it could be. And then the end of Potter. I mean, not a wizard, Harry. You're not a wizard, Graham. Danny, score prediction?
I'll go for 2-0.
2-0. I think that's quite respectable. I'm thinking 2 or 3-0. I'd love an Elliott Anderson goal just to fill my boots and like give me some joy. I'd love a Sangare goal just to shut everyone up. To be honest, but
I think he'd love a goal. I think he'd love a goal. I do. I think if I could pick a player to get a goal, it'd be him because I just think it'd do a lot for him. I think, especially at home.
Yeah, I mean, the way West Ham are going, like I think if we got an early goal, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to even envisage a Brighton kind of scoreline, because they've been in such turmoil, and like when the City ground gets going, I mean, we're gonna get going. Do you know what I mean? But we'll find out, I guess, and it's gonna be an interesting game regardless, because no game's easy in this league. So we've just got to take it in our stride, really. So looking forward to it. Any other business, Danny? You got anything else to say before we finish?
No, I'll be there on Sunday. Looking forward to it. I tell you what, I am glad. I'm glad none of the lads have had a call up for Brazil, just because I think it's good to get everyone in training, keep them. And I'm going to be controversial here. I'd like it if none of the English lads got called up either.
Would you not want Elliott Anderson in?
I don't know if
he deserves it.
I would for the pride of thingy, for the pride, but I don't think it'd be a catastrophe if we didn't, because I think that extra 2 weeks together as a squad, I think could be massive. It'd be massive because realistically, the ones who you want in there are going to be there, like your McAtee. I imagine he's not going to go on duty. Hutchinson will be there, and all the Brazil lads will be there. Obviously, I think that on Doyle will go, and then the striker, the French lad,
yeah, he won't get in the French team now.
No, so I'm not overly disappointed if they don't go. Are they friendlies or are they actual?
I think they're qualifiers. I ain't got. I don't take any notice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm probably a bit more. I'm not really the best person to talk to when it comes to international football. It doesn't really tend. Reece is your man. It doesn't tend to interest me. It doesn't. No. So, but now, like I say, I do think Anderson deserves it. Though I'd love to see him I would love to see him in an England shirt. But like I say, I won't be devastated if he doesn't.
Yeah. If anyone does listen to our pod, everyone will know Elliott is our residential fact man. So what's your fact of the day, Elliott? You told me it's a clean one anyway.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say fat man, but you said fact man, which I thought was
no
fine.
No tits this week. Sorry for saying tits, but it was funny last week, to be fair.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me on this pod, Adam. It's always a great pod. Obviously, please like and subscribe this pod because it really does help the channel.
Doing my job for me.
I will, but that's because I'm professional. Although I do need to buy a new camera because it's gone on me, so I'm returning this one. So yeah, just 2 quick things from me. First of all, my favorite band, Wolf Alice, they have a new album out called The Clearing. I'd very much recommend it if you're into really cool British rock bands. So that's my first one. Second part, yeah, it is today's fact. And it's about some weird tradition in parts of North and West Germany. If you are single and unmarried on your 30th birthday, it is a tradition that you have to dress like an old maid, sweep the steps of the local town or village hall, and you're only allowed to leave when you are kissed by a virgin.
I don't know if they're a virgin. That's the biggest mystery of all of this. Never mind jashing up as a maid because you're unmarried.
Well,
Brilliant.
just imagine us like going onto some kind of away trip in Germany, and we just go walk across and
when we're
see that basically. I'll
we're
leave a
right.
link of that on my Twitter. You can see on there. I normally do like really sort of silly nonsense on Twitter anyway.
I mean, when we go Freiburg next year and we see a load of maids, we know what's happening, right? I mean, that's random as anything. But no, thank you very much for that. Yeah, no, looking forward to the game. Hopefully, it's a good one. Hopefully, we win. If you've enjoyed the pod, drop us a like. We've got a Mark Warburton special out. That was with Reese and Alex, who have been on the pod. Mark gave us his time. He's in Florida now, and it was great chatting to him with the guys. Obviously, a lot of insight there of his time at Forest. So do check that out. Do consider membership for future early pods. I know Elliott is a member as well. Are you enjoying it? Is it good?
Oh, very much, especially to get the to get these early videos. It's always a pleasure.
Great advertisement. But no, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds.